The crystalline command chamber of the Dominion's wrath hummed with anticipation as Emperor Zephyros adjusted his ceremonial war crown. 6 arms moved with practiced precision across holographic displays, each limb ending in razor-sharp claws that had torn through countless worlds. His compound eyes, each the size of a human head, reflected the blue glow of hyperspace as his flagship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. "Arrival confirmed, Your Magnificence," chittered General Vextar, his insectoid mandibles clicking, nervously. "Terra 3, the human homeworld, we are precisely 14 rotations ahead of schedule." Zephyros had ruled the galactic hegemony for 3 centuries, crushing 47 civilizations beneath his iron fist. Each conquest followed the same pattern: arrive with overwhelming force, demand unconditional surrender, and harvest the planet's resources while enslaving the survivors. The humans were supposed to be just another primitive species, barely having achieved interplanetary travel. "Excellent," the Emperor rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "We shall catch them unprepared, begin planetary scans, and prepare the invasion fleet." But as the sensors swept across Earth's surface, something was wrong. Very wrong. "Your Magnificence." Vextar's voice trembled with confusion. "The readings, they don't match our intelligence reports." On the main display, Earth rotated slowly, but instead of the primitive cities and scattered settlements they expected, the planet blazed with impossible structures. Massive orbital rings encircled the globe, connected by space elevators that stretched from surface to sky. Geometric patterns of light sprawled across continents, cities that seemed to pulse with their own energy. "Magnify Sector 7, Zephyros commanded, leaning forward on his throne. The screen zoomed to show 2 figures standing on what appeared to be a floating platform high in Earth's atmosphere. A young human male with dark hair worked frantically at a control console, while beside him, a female with silver hair pointed toward the alien fleet with remarkable calm. "David, they're early," Alsa said. Her voice somehow transmitted clearly through the vacuum of space to the alien ship's sensors. The Emperor wasn't supposed to arrive for 2 more weeks. David's fingers danced across holographic interfaces that made the hegemony's technology look primitive. I know. The planetary defense grid isn't fully calibrated yet. We've only got about 60% of the network online." 60% should be more than enough," Alsa replied with a slight smile. Emperor Zephyros felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: uncertainty. These humans were speaking as if they had been expecting him, as if they had been preparing. "Run deep scans on their technology," he ordered. "I want to know what we're dealing with." The results made his blood run cold. The energy signatures were off the charts, power levels that exceeded anything in the known galaxy. The orbital structures weren't just cities, they were weapons platforms of unimaginable sophistication. On the screen, David looked up from his console. "Alsa, you were right about the Zephyros Gambit. He's brought exactly 1,247 ships, arranged in the hegemony's standard domination formation Alpha." "Of course he did," Alsa laughed. "The Emperor hasn't changed his tactics in 300 years. Honestly, it's almost disappointing how predictable he is." Zephyros rose from his throne, all 6 arms trembling with rage. "How do they know our fleet composition? How do they know my name?" "Your Magnificence," whispered the ship's intelligence officer. "I'm detecting quantum communication networks throughout their solar system. The complexity suggests they've been monitoring us for decades, possibly centuries." The truth hit him like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just discovered space travel recently. They had been watching the hegemony's expansion across the galaxy, learning, preparing, growing stronger while pretending to be primitive. On Earth's surface, David activated something that made every sensor on the alien fleet scream warnings. Planetary defense grid at 64% and rising. All orbital platforms armed and ready. "Wait," Alsa held up a hand. "Let me talk to him first. Professional courtesy." She pressed her palm to a crystal panel, and suddenly her voice filled the Emperor's command chamber with perfect clarity. Emperor Zephyros of the galactic Hegemony, she began, her tone respectful but firm. I am Alsa Chen, Director of Interstellar Relations for the Terran Defense Council. We've been monitoring your approach for some time. Impossible, Zephyros roared. You're primitives. Your entire species should be cowering before our might. Your Magnificence, Alsa continued calmly. We've observed your methodology across 47 worlds. The intimidation, the demands for surrender, the resource extraction. It's quite effective against unprepared civilizations. On cue, David's fingers moved across his console, and space around Earth came alive. Thousands of hidden weapons platforms materialized as their cloaking fields dropped. Planetary shields shimmered into existence. Fighter craft that moved like liquid mercury poured from concealed hangars. However, Alsa's voice carried a note of steel. Humanity has had quite some time to prepare for this conversation. Emperor Zephyros stared at the display in horror. His invasion fleet, which had seemed so overwhelming moments before, now looked pathetically small against the vast defensive network surrounding Earth. You see, Your Magnificence, humanity learned something interesting while watching your conquests, Alsa continued. Every species you defeated made the same mistake. They waited until you arrived to begin preparing their defenses. We decided to start a bit earlier. How much earlier? Zephyros whispered. David looked up from his console with a grin. About 200 years, give or take. The Emperor's compound eyes widened as the implications sank in. While he had been conquering primitive worlds and growing complacent, humanity had been transforming their entire solar system into an impregnable fortress. So, Alsa said pleasantly, shall we discuss terms for your surrender? I promise we're much more reasonable than you've been with previous civilizations. As Emperor Zephyros stared at the impossible defenses of humanity, he realized that for the first time in his long reign he was not the hunter, he was the prey, and humanity had been patiently waiting for him to walk into their trap.